Hi, and welcome to Diabetes in a Minute. Today I'd like to discuss the hidden, unmentioned symptoms of type 2 diabetes. You know, those of us with diabetes are used to hearing about symptoms like you're going to have increased thirst, and you're going to be running to the bathroom with increased urination, or you may have wounds that don't heal. You may feel dizzy and so on and so forth. And those are the symptoms, honestly, that a person with diabetes feels when their blood sugar is quite high, somewhere around the 200 range. So there are many years that could pass from the time that you start to have problems with blood sugar, and then you become pre-diabetic, and then you may advance to type 2 diabetes. And that period of time brings with it a bunch of symptoms that are very seldom mentioned. So the purpose of my being here today is to alert you to them. If you realize that, yeah, that sounds like me, it makes perfect sense when you go to your next doctor's appointment to ask for blood work, ask for fasting glucose, so that you can see if you have normal glucose metabolism, if you have reversible prediabetes or controllable type 2 diabetes. But you need to know, because the sooner you know, the sooner you can do something about it and prevent health issues in the future. So this is an important video. You may want to get a pencil and paper, write down some of the symptoms that apply to you, so that when you go to your physician you can say, you know, these are the things I've been noticing, and I think it might be time to have my glucose checked out. So first symptom I want to talk about is the number one symptom I hear from my patients on their first visit, and that is fatigue. It's not normal fatigue like you would feel if you did a lot of work around the house for the day. So at night you're tired. This is fatigue that could begin as early as soon as you get out of bed in the morning, you're not energized. Or in the late afternoon, somewhere around 3, 4 in the afternoon, you may really notice a slump in energy, feel like you need some caffeine or a piece of chocolate or 2 or 3. After dinner, sometimes within an hour after having dinner in the evening, people find that they're falling asleep in a chair and might sleep for an hour or 2. And that's a fatigue that may have to do with fluctuations in blood sugar. Another issue that involves sleep or fatigue has to do with restless sleep at night. People with blood sugar issues often have problems sleeping through the night. They find that they wake up in the middle of the night wide awake with a racing brain. You're almost like trying to solve the problems of the world, but the clock keeps ticking and you're thinking, I've got to get up in the morning for work or to get some chores done, and I just can't sleep. Sometimes that is due to blood sugar roller coastering during the night when you're trying to sleep. Another major symptom of blood glucose problems is fat deposits around the midsection. Terms like belly fat, muffin top, love handles, back fat. That type of distribution of fat lends itself to problems with insulin and blood sugar. Old tried and true diets, things that you used to follow, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, that may have worked for you in the past, if they no longer work, I've heard many people say that in the past they could go to Weight Watchers and drop 10 pounds. Now when they do the Weight Watchers program, they gain weight, and they're doing the program correctly. That could be an indication of blood sugar issues. So your attempts at dieting are not successful. There is a big craving of carbohydrate foods. My patients will usually use the term love. that they love bread or pasta, rice, pizza, takeout Chinese, burritos with rice and beans, cakes, cookies, pies, ice cream, chocolate, candy, sweets, chips. And they find that when they start to eat these foods, it's close to impossible to stop eating them. So they may go into the kitchen and take a handful of potato chips, and before the evening's over, they could possibly have finished the bag. Or they open a large pack of M&Ms and they think, well, I'll have a handful, and little by little, the bag is finished. That's a real love of carb, and you might find that when you first start eating the carbohydrate, you feel energized, you feel great, but not long after eating it, there's a slump in your energy, and that's very much related to blood sugar rise and fall. Some more symptoms: you may notice an increased sensitivity to alcohol. So you take a drink or two, and you may feel flushed and hot and a little tipsy really soon after you begin drinking. There's also a decreased sensitivity to caffeine. So you may find that all of a sudden you can have a double espresso and go to bed in an hour and fall asleep. So caffeine doesn't give you the lift it once did, and alcohol gets you buzzed pretty quickly. A couple other things: there's a feeling of melancholy, mild depression, things that used to really float your boat don't quite do it for you anymore. It might feel like a chore to get ready to leave the house to do something that you used to enjoy doing, so you just stop doing it. So there's a lack of joy, and that's sad, because that will decrease your quality of life. Blurry vision that comes and goes. So people will say that, gee, in the morning I could read the newspaper, but if I try to read the paper in the evening, it's blurry. Or in the morning I can't see the television well, and in the evening it's clearer. So it's like a transient blurriness in vision. And also teary eyes. You may find that your eyes, you'll feel a tear and you're not crying. It's as if your eyes at times have little excess tear, and then at other times they may be very dry. So you may feel one way or the other. Speaking of vision, you may notice an increased sensitivity to light. So you may find yourself wearing your sunglasses more, or when you go out the front door, the sun is so bright. In the evening when you're driving, you may find that oncoming headlights are very bright, and they may have a halo around them. They're not like, the actual headlight. You see a headlight with a little bit of a glare around it. That's another sensitivity to light. You may notice that your libido is decreased, and that falls into the same category of just decreased joy in life. Things don't enthuse you as much as they used to. One of the other things that many people report is a decrease in their short-term memory, their ability to focus, their ability to concentrate. They're not as sharp as they used to be. So you may find yourself looking all around the house for your car keys, and they're in your hands. Or you're reading in a book and you're trying to keep the story going, and the next evening when you pick the book up, you forget the characters. Or you can't concentrate. Someone is speaking to you, and maybe like right now, shame on you, and you might notice that you can't concentrate. You kind of just check out of the conversation because it's very hard to keep your mind focused. So those were a bunch of unspoken symptoms of blood sugar issues. So if it sounds like you may want to ask your physician to do a fasting blood sugar test on you at your next physical exam, and see if it's possible that these symptoms are due to either pre-diabetes or diabetes. Keep in mind that if you do find that you have prediabetes or type 2, there are methods with lifestyle where you can control your blood sugar and erase all these symptoms. Once your blood sugar is back to normal, the symptoms are gone. So don't think that you have to live your life at a lower level or a lower quality. That isn't the case. Just find out if that's the root of your problem, and then we can take care of that. So that's today's Diabetes in a Minute, and I'll see you next time. Bye.